last budget of this present current government. So therefore, this budget also is designed more or less in a manner that will enable them to really probably enable, rather they will try to make up for the last 4 years of their inactivity or other lack of any governance. Now, the most important thing, because there will be budget discussion and we will have elaborate discussion on the budget within the House. So today I can only refer to certain important aspects of this budget, which will give you a insight into the various aspects vis-a-vis the source of fund and how the sources are expected and the ramification thereof, with the kind of projected expenditure. Now, if you're looking at the budget here, they have tried to use the maximum space available for borrowing for the state government. Okay. Now, recently, you know that the Government of India has amended the FRBM Act. Okay. Now, FRBM Act earlier provided maximum borrowing space up to 3% of the GSDP for the states. Now, this has been increased to a ceiling of 4.5% of GSDP. Okay. So, you can understand more than half of the earlier space available for the state government is extended to the state through this amendment of FRBM Act, and they have taken the fullest advantage of this. But under what kind of resultant ramification thereof, that means you will increase your repayment of principal on the borrowing, and you will also increase the repayment on interest. Today, as we speak, you look at the figure here, based on the budget that has been presented, a fiscal deficit of 1,849 crore, which is around 4.5% of GSDP. You have to look at this figure. How many percent of GSDP is the fiscal deficit? That means they have gone to the maximum that was allowed by the FRBM Act. Now, therefore, you will end up leaving behind a burden of repayment for the state. Now, that is one part. Then another part is that if you are looking at another credibility of the state to have access to various borrowing, be it in respect of externally aided project like the World Bank, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, the ADB. Now your eligibility, and in other words, the preferred states for taking the states for consideration of any proposal for borrowing under this externally aided project is also determined by your this very aspect of fiscal health. Credit, whoever is paying. Now, if the bank is giving you a loan, you will look at your fiscal health. You will look at your capability of repayment. Similarly, these whole indicators of a state's fiscal health is crucial for a state to reach out to any available borrowing from the market. Now here, where is the money going to come from? That means you have two sources. One is negotiated loan, one is the borrowing from the open market. And the resultant burden on the state is that you will have more repayment burden on principals as well as interest. It's a matter of serious concern. Okay. It is a matter of serious concern because earlier, even though the whole borrowing space was available up to 3% of the total GSDP, we maintain it below 3. If you go through 10, 11, 12, you will see that we try to. Then the resultant your debt is to GSDP ratio. All these are indicators of the healthy fiscal health or otherwise of a state. Therefore, today's budget indicates that they have gone to maximum available. If somebody is saying that, okay, I have an express loan, take it. And so, besides a matter of besides expressing my serious concern on this, another important aspect is borrowing for what? Borrowing to fund what type of program? You go back to last year. Government of India said that you can borrow under Atmanirbhar, this and that, and then for specific projects. So you have to understand the whole complexities of this borrowing and repayment burden on the state. Now you may have the access to borrowing, but then will you decide to borrow everything and leave the burden for your generation X? So these are matters of concern. And another thing is that here the whole budget has been very well camouflaged. You will not be able to know how much money is coming against the central sector schemes, which forms the bulk of the developmental investment. Okay, you will not be able to. And you also have number of externally aided projects. So in the budget speech, they have not maintained that kind of figure which will give you an insight into, okay, how much money is coming from where. But when you go through the detailed budget, which usually people don't do, of course all the legislators will do that, then only you will know.